You're back with more Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time is 7:15. Peter Schiff in the studio with us, working me on trying to sell me some stuff. That's what I like about Schiff. That guy is always trying to make money. Hey, welcome to KTRH in Houston. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, now listen, you are tonight you're at the Hobby Center, Zilka Hall, 6 o'clock. Tickets are available. You can go online right now, Europac, that's EUROPAC.net, to get some tickets. What are you going to be talking about tonight?
I'm going to be talking about the real crash. It's actually in our future. It's not in our past. A lot of people think that, we dodged a bullet, that we had a crisis in '08, and that we've been saved, government stimulus, the Fed, the bailouts, that the U.S. economy is recovering. My point is that there is no recovery. It's an illusion that a much greater collapse is waiting in the wings, precisely because of what the government did. The government did everything wrong. They helped create the housing bubble. They created the financial crisis. But all of their cures actually made the fundamental problems worse. And I think we have another real big leg down coming soon. I'm gonna describe why it's coming, and more importantly, what investors can do to protect themselves from the carnage.
Let me just play something. This is you in front of a congressional committee. You said this.
As a nation, we have borrowed and spent our way into a gigantic ditch.
And
we're not going to get out of the ditch by digging it deeper.
You say we have spent our way into a ditch. We're not going to get out of the ditch by digging it deeper. You still believe that?
Well, absolutely. We had a crisis in large part because we lived beyond our means. We borrowed money we didn't have, and we bought things we couldn't afford, and we're in a giant hole as a result. All the current solutions are digging the hole deeper. Let's borrow more money and spend it on government programs. Let's spend it on consumption, and we're hollowing out our economy. We need to do the opposite of what we did to get into trouble, which means more savings, more investment, more production, more exports, smaller government, less consumption, fewer regulations, lower taxes. That's what we need, but we're not getting that.
So, Peter, what about what's going on in Greece and the fact that they've got some austerity measures? Does that help improve what the outlook could be like, at least in the short term for us?
Well, no. I think Greece is more of an example of our future. But if you look at what's happening in Europe right now, any resolution, temporary, even temporary, to the problems in Europe is bad news in the short run for the U.S. Because people have been so worried about Europe. They've been buying dollars. They've been buying treasuries. That's helped our government borrow money. That's kept consumer prices lower and interest rates lower than they otherwise would be. If things improve in Europe, that's bad news for the dollar. That's bad news for U.S. treasuries. That means for Americans, it's going to be more expensive to borrow and more expensive to buy food, more expensive to buy energy. So in the short run, it's going to be a problem. In the long run, that's what we need. We need to stop spending. We need the U.S. government to stop borrowing. But in the short run, that's going to bring a lot of pain, not only for a lot of American consumers, but for investors who have the wrong portfolios.
All right, Peter Schiff joining us this morning. He is in town tonight at the Hobby Center, Zilka Hall, at 6 o'clock. Tickets are available. You can go to Europac.net. That's EUROPAC.net for tickets. We are joined live in studio by Peter Schiff. He'll be at the Hobby Center tonight in Zilka Hall at 6 o'clock. You want to stop down and get his advice. Tickets are still available for the show tonight. Go to Europac. That's EUROPAC.net. All right, I asked you before we took the break. So this administration, he's coming out with a budget today now, Peter. I'm sure that this is going to get us out of the ditch, right?
Well, not only won't we get out of the ditch, but when Obama is finished digging, we're going to be in the Grand Canyon. The big problem is he got the shovels from Bush. He's just using them more effectively. But this budget is just a charade. There are no real cuts. They're talking about, first of all, $4 trillion over 10 years. That's $400 billion a year. That's nothing compared to the current budget deficit. But they're not even real cuts. They're talking about reductions in the proposed rate of increase, and most of the cuts come from the assumption of reduction in interest payments on what they believe is going to be a smaller deficit. What happens if interest rates go up? See, that's what no one's talking about. When interest rates rise, we can no more afford to pay our bills than Greece can afford theirs. That is the problem. We're living on borrowed time, literally. We've got an adjustable rate mortgage on the national debt, and when our creditors lose confidence, when they realize that there's a lot of inflation inflation and that these government indexes that purport to report on it are bogus, interest rates are going to spike in this country, and we're not going to be able to pay our bills. We need real reductions in government spending right now. And these supposed tax hikes on the rich, they're going to backfire. The rich are already paying the lion's share of taxes. And if you raise taxes on the rich, myself included, we might figure out ways to earn less money and pay even lower taxes.
So you're a rich guy. You're a very rich guy. What would happen if you had to pay more taxes? I mean, do you mind paying more taxes?
Absolutely. I mind paying the taxes I'm paying right now. The problem, I'm already paying.
You're a hater, aren't you? You just hate poor people and the old and the elderly. You hate everybody, Peter.
Well, look, I'm paying about half my income in taxes. And, I don't think that's fair. Medieval serfs only paid 25% in taxes. I mean, I wish I could be elevated to the level of a serf. But the problem is when I pay more money in taxes, I have less money to expand my business, to provide services to my clients, to provide jobs for Americans. The money is going to be a lot better for the economy if it's in my hands than in Washington. Washington's using it to destroy the country.
Peter Schiff joining us. Don't forget, he tonight is at the Hobby Center, Zilka Hall, 6 o'clock. Tickets are available. Go to Europac.net. You don't want to miss this. EUROPAC.net. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Remember, I got my own radio show now, too, at schiffradio.com. You can listen live from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern.
Don't be promoting your radio show on my radio show.
I'll promote mine on yours.
I'm just kidding you. Thank you, Peter. It's good to have you here.